Hello! My name is Dave, I am 31, and I have cystic fibrosis. Today, I'm doing a follow-up video to a video that I did last year where I basically just talked about what adult life with cystic fibrosis is like. The link is down below. This year, my wife went out to people in the CF community on social media and message boards and asked if they were curious about what adult CF was like. We are here today to answer some of those questions. Okay, my mutation is weird, but they did all the genetic sequencing and all that stuff and basically determined that it is CF, but it's not a known mutation. It's a bummer because my mutation isn't known, so I don't get to participate in like some of the newer, cooler, blockbuster drugs. I know they are riddled with a lot of side effects, but they also heard a lot of positive things. So I'm very happy for the people that are able to participate in that with the typical F508, or I honestly can't remember. You know, I do a pretty typical CF routine, inhaled antibiotics. I jump 1 month on clismethate and 1 month on casein. I do the albuterol, hypertonic saline, nebulizers, all the mucolytics. I do Mucinex as well, inhaled steroids, and the whole GI thing, high calorie diet, and pancreatic enzymes, you know, acid reflux stuff, the Dexalin and the Reglan, and basically the pretty typical routine, you know, the chest percussion, which I probably should be doing more of. I find there are other ways that I can get stuff out. I know prematurity in CF is pretty common. I was 8 weeks premature, I believe. I don't remember the exact date, but you know, this is in the 80s. Yeah, I was premature. I gave my family like a very dismal outlook. Yeah, I'm still here. Body image and food and all that. This is something that I've struggled with myself because, you know, with eating, you're monitoring those calories and stuff. I find myself like not really always going for the healthy options, just going for like the caloric options. I'll find like certain foods make me bloat, and it just, you know, you just look in the mirror and you just feel bleh. It's very weird, and with a lot of CF patients, at least myself, I noticed that, you know, you've got these skinny little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, but, you know, you look like you're expecting a child in your belly. That can be very frustrating. There are medicines you can talk to your team about that can help. Diet choices, all the good food. It's always the worst food for you. Pizza and cheeseburgers, and it can... I totally lost my train of thought. Back to what we were talking about. Especially when you're a teenager, it makes you just extra lanky and awkward when you're already going through an awkward and lanky stage. And as an adult, you have that, you try to look your best. If you eat something that sets you off or you get bloated, it's hard to avoid that mental wrestling match with it. Diet choices, and if you can exercise, that can always help with it. In the long run, you know, when you have to eat that certain diet stuff, and there's been that research correlation between high calorie and FEV, and learn to become comfortable with yourself and kind of in that big picture. You follow this and stuff, and you're around longer. It's another thing that can suck with CF. Okay, exercise. I get outside a lot with my kids, like if the weather permits. Even when it doesn't, I still try to. Like if it's hot, you know, I really make sure I'm hydrated, and I'll just in the little kiddie pools, or if we go to like a local creek or a swimming pool or something. Yeah, and speaking of hydration, one thing I try to do is I try to drink a gallon of water a day, which is almost freaking impossible. It helps a lot overall. Let's see what else. It's a funny thing with like CF and exercise. If your FEV is low or you're not feeling that great, CFers know you just get that uncomfortable feeling in your chest, and it just becomes really demotivating. But if you can exercise, do it. Make it fun. I have an exercise bike on Amazon. I prop my laptop on there, either do some work or throw something on Netflix or play video games. One thing I found is actually pretty cool kind of exercise is VR. If you are able to do that, I found that like really interactive games where you're kind of moving around and stuff. I was doing it for like a half an hour, 45 minutes. I found that after, like, that felt really good. Like I was hacking stuff up and all of that. Not all video games are bad. we're having technical difficulties. The worst thing that I've been told is that I was going to die. When I was first born, it was, kind of intimated to my parents that if there's any kind of last things that they wanted to do, maybe now would be the time to do them. Like in my teen years, some things got really rough. There were times it was talked about that we don't know how much longer. Yeah, I think the times in my life when death has been brought up, yeah, that's the worst thing. Yeah, I really don't try to dwell on it so much because I found that, dwelling on it, I'm not doing anything. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm just spinning my wheels. I really try to take a more positive outlook on it because it's been the best for me. It's having those debilitating moments with it. You've got things to do and you feel awful. Any kind of exclusion, sometimes I'll be forgetful with my enzymes and I forgot to put them in the car or whatever, and we're somewhere and there's really good food and I can't eat without having just all kinds of nonsense. So that can be annoying. As far as support, family is always supportive. My wife, very, very supportive. She's smiling right now because she needs more things to fluff up her ego. If you can just find someone supportive, that's always best. Aside from just the supportive people, find something you're passionate about. It doesn't have to necessarily be your job, because if you like to paint figurines, it'd probably be hard to find a job for it, but go to work and in your free time paint figurines. I've always noticed that's really helpful because it can really kind of steer your thinking in a different direction, especially when you do have those darker moments. It's not really touched on often, but CF, there's a big mental health aspect to it. I have a big problem myself admitting things about depression and anxiety and the things that do come with the uncertainty of a chronic illness. If you are having something like that, don't be afraid to mention it to your team or get some therapy. I will admit I was super stubborn in getting stuff like that. I'm 31 and I only just started addressing stuff like that recently with a therapist. You do have those days where you feel like, I don't know how long my life is going to be. Why does it matter? And you have, the dark thoughts and there's the anxiety. And the anxiety can get in every element of life. It stems from all that CF stuff and you can just become anxious about a lot. Again, don't ever be afraid to address that kind of darker element of a chronic illness. If you can get some help or talk to someone, it's par for the course for what this disease comes with. And kids and family, I don't talk to my kids about it. I did fall into that very minuscule population of people with CF where I am able to have kiddos. I don't want them to have to worry. They know that I have to take medicine with stuff, but they don't know the extent of things. There's no reason for them to know. They're kids. My wife knows everything. I do keep a lot of people in the dark about it, with the exception of the people that are close to me. It's a personal choice thing, but I don't think that you should be one way to your own detriment. You shouldn't be too shut off about it, but don't let it consume you. Compliance and cystic fibrosis. From what I've heard and read and talked to my doctors about, it almost borderlines on cliche when you go through a period of I'm not going to do all this and all that, because not doing that stuff makes you feel normal, but also not doing it is going to make you less normal because you're going to get sick or it's going to damage you in some irreparable way. It's hard because taking care of CF can be its own part-time job. I remember named Jess, who asked one of the questions for us, said, so I would tell people you're stronger than CF, but why you're so strong is because of all the treatments and hard work that you put in taking care of yourself. And that's really, really true, because treatments, getting in all the appointments, and so it is very easy to steer away from the path, but the best option is, listen to your people. In the end, it's the best thing for you, and that's really what you should focus on. I say just keep going for it. Be as compliant as you can. Try to figure out the best life for you. Find something you love to do, no matter what it is. Just find something that keeps you going and keeps you interested. And as much work and all of this is, just know that, it's worth it in the end. Ooh, a joke. Alright. What do you call when Batman skips church? Christian Bale. And scene.